on that hot streak, and they were playing such good defense, and they were winning game after game, and they were beating, people like, they haven't beaten anybody yet, and then they beat a couple of good teams and did it pretty easily. I don't know, man. I just feel like now I'm not as confident as in the Lakers as I was before the injury.
One other topic we covered with Von Tobel last hour, are the Mavs this weak-minded, insecure, that after hearing all this guff about how awful this trade was with Luka, that to save face, they're going to bring Anthony Davis back? Like, he's ready to come back in the next week or so.
Sure.
Why? You're at the bottom of the West playoff rank, ratings or whatever, standings.
I mean, what else?
They've lost 10 of 11. Lose and get a better pick.
No, I get it, but I mean,
you think is AD like, I have to come back? I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
I really think Nico Harrison and the rest of the Mavs are like, well, we gotta show people. We gotta show them signs of the future. We gotta win some games here. Show them how good AD is. Like, we know how good he is. You guys think?
I think that's part of what, but I think what you're saying is part of it, though. I think it's it's a visual thing. Like, oh, there's the guy we traded for. Told you he was good. That kind of thing.
We know he's good.
Why? We do, but maybe
you're going to do nothing in the playoffs. Why would you squander the opportunity to draft pick?
I'm not sure they would do nothing in the playoffs with AD, though. I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing.
Okay.
But I think they could win I think they could win a round with AD. I don't think that team's as bad as people think it is. They just don't have like well, I guess no Kyrie too, but
yeah, kind of a big one.
Yeah.
Torn ACL out for next year.
But he was pretty bad last year in the last round of the playoffs. So.
If there were sources who leak something but I don't even think they need to do this. Like, hey, we got to show AD can still play so we can spin him off in the offseason. You'll be able to spin him off if he doesn't play game 75 through 82.
I think you got to
be okay.
Well, I think you got to prove he can still play, though, because of his injury history. So if a team thinks he can't play at all, but what if a team's like, hey, man, you didn't bring him back the whole year. How do I know this guy can even walk?
On to baseball. Are you happy for a day with the Yankees?
I'll tell you what, man. I thought somebody was cutting onions when I read this story. I was actually, Did you
cry?
I welled up. I didn't cry. I'll admit it. I did.
It's a nice story.
It's a nice story. It was a very happy story. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Aaron Boone's lucky he didn't get punched in the face because he played a little joke on this guy. There's this guy who was an Uber driver.
You want to fight Aaron Boone? Is that the undercard to Cofield against Mick Cronin?
Yes.
Cofield
Aaron Boone. Yes, me versus Aaron bleeping Boone, and then you take on Cronin.
I think we're 0-2 in these fights.
Oh, I don't think so.
You're beating up Aaron Boone?
Oh, yeah.
MMA or boxing? You're going to gas out. He's in good shape.
No, doesn't matter. I'm just kidding.
Isn't he younger than you?
He'll probably kill me.
Of course he would kill you. I don't know. He's a Boone. They're like super strong.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Paul Boone.
Strong forearms. Their dad played catcher. He's a truck. Right. Bob. Little Brett.
I'm joking. I don't want to fight Aaron Boone. You do want to fight Cronin, but I don't want to fight Aaron.
I don't want to fight Cronin. I just want someone to tell him to shut up.
There's this guy named JC Escarra. I think I'm saying his name right. He was an Uber driver, and he was one of those fringe players. Didn't know if he's going to make the team, spring training. Aaron Boone calls him into his office, and you remember in Major League where like they put that card in that dude's locker thinking he got cut? What was it? Charlie Sheen. And he comes and he punches what's his face? Anyways, similar thing. Aaron Boone brings him into the office and he says, hey man, basically I got some bad news or whatever. And then the guy's like, oh man, I think he's about to be cut. And then you're going to the Yankees, And I was like, yeah. But anyways, the heartwarming part was when he went and called his mom. They have it on video. He calls his mom.
I didn't know about this part.
You didn't? Yeah, that's the part. You might cry. Honestly, It's very cool. So he calls his mom and he says to his mom, who knew what was going on, obviously, whether he's going to be cut or not, he says, hey, I talked to Aaron Boone and blah, blah. And then he goes, we're going to New York. And then she just starts crying. I mean, like tears of joy, though, but like it just tugs at your heart type tears of joy. And then he starts crying. And then I'm sitting here welling up like, oh, my God. Now I'm a big wuss. But you know what? It got to me. That's good. It's a good story. Yankees, horrible ownership.
Is it bad? Well, I read up on the guy and it was like, it's like a 220 hitter on the minors.
I know.
Years.
I was thinking that too.
4-homer catcher. Finally, last year he hit like 285 at AAA.
I know. I was thinking that.
But he did drive Uber when he was in the independent leagues. That's kind of cool.
Well, even the bonus just to go to the Yankees or whatever he gets for the year is going to be,
the money just going up and down if he's. Yeah. I was going to call it Columbus, but they don't have a. Where is their triple? They're in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, remember it used to be the Columbus shuttle.
Yeah.
But going back and forth, he's going to make a nice living. It's a big deal for guys.
Yeah. Well, dude, he was making $400 every 2 weeks. He said.
Oh my God. Now he's going to get major league money. At least here and there.
Yeah. Not
who knows if he hits a little bit, maybe he stays up.
Not from the Uber. He was making $400 every 2 weeks for whatever league he was playing in before.
Yeah, the independent league.
Yeah, the independent league.
Regular minors ain't much better.
Yeah,
they're rough.
They pay a little more. I think it's like 50 G's.
All right. Where are you now mentally with the Yankees?
I try not, because look, this is what's going to happen. I say it every year. They get a certain point, and then they just can't get any farther than that point. They have enough stuff in place to get into the playoffs. They just don't have enough stuff in place to get out of the playoffs. And I feel like it's going to happen every single year because they don't want to compete with the Dodgers. They're not trying to.
They don't want to compete with the Mets.
Yeah, they don't want to compete with anybody. They just want to do their thing, get their money, fill their stadium up. That's it, which they will do because they go to the playoffs, but they're not going to win anything. And it makes me very sad.
It is sad.
Yeah. I feel like his mom, except for tears of sadness, not joy.
Rage.
Yes.
In this case, as the season moves along. Even when they're good. I remember last year, you're like, oh, they're going to fall apart.
And they did.
And then they kind of, one guy did. Judge.
Yeah. But still, I mean, they're pitching, though. Every year, though, they're pitching. They know the problem is they're pitching. Even last year, the first half, you said it too. They're not going to last like this. They had guys that were.
Well, they overdid it. Now they're going to have to come back.
Yeah.
With a pitching. Now they're going to start out slow with the starters.
Well, if a guy has a 5 ERA for his career, then all of a sudden he has a 2 ERA for half a season, guess what? He's probably not going to have a great season. The second half of the season, he's probably going to come back down to earth. And they all did.
So Cole down for the season.
Yeah.
Louis Heel. God, I don't want to do it, but I feel the pulled lats is the nightmare of all injuries. I mean, you don't want to shred your elbow or shoulder.
Right.
But for a pitcher, the pulled lats. Why does it take 3 months?
Wow.
So Louis Heel's out until June. Their pitching staff, Max Fried, who they signed for a bunch of money, somewhat reliable lefty, but a really good 3 or 4. Carlos Rodon. Oh, boy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't even think, honestly, their hitting last year, I think they hit over their heads too a little bit. Like some of those guys, I don't think they're going to have the same year they had last year.
Do you like the old men they signed? Some of the grizzled veterans?
No, whatever.
Paul Goldschmidt?
Yeah, great.
No? Cody Bellinger, what if he bounces all the way back?
Great.
Boy, I can't get you fired up. The funny thing is, who was I listening to the other day, and they're just like, Yankees are dead in the water. I'm like, they're the favorite to win the AL East, so just relax. Now, the ultimate goal is to win the World Series.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. That's the same thing as Lakers. Well, that's the same thing as the Lakers, though, when you're like, oh, the Lakers are going to crumble. I don't mean like they're going to crumble, like not going to make the playoffs. I mean, like, if you're a Lakers fan, either you win or you don't. If you're a Yankees fan, going to the playoffs, it doesn't mean anything. You don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go win.
I was kind of joking, but I was kind of serious. The guy who is as committed as any owner in all sports is Steve Cohen.
You might be right.
Last year, let's go back about a year and a half. They moved on Max Scherzer.
Yep.
To the Rangers.
Yep.
And they told Scherzer in a phone meeting or face-to-face meeting, like, hey, we're moving on because we're going to rebuild. And so he puts that out. And I remember reacting at the time. I'm like, they're not going to rebuild. This was last year.
Yeah.
So we're going back like 2 years.
Yeah.
Trade deadline. And I'm like, they're not going to rebuild. You can't really do it in New York. And this guy, Steve Cohen, we were just getting to know him. He's a lunatic. And then last year they competed and they kept adding and adding. It's like, and everyone was all fired up. This is something I love in an owner who can actually bring them down to your level, actually appreciates that fans have a lot of passion, right? We'll speak to the people.
Yes.
You think Little Stein is going to speak to the people ever?
No. And I think there's a big difference between an owner, because a lot of these guys are billionaires. The only reason to buy a team is because you want to have fun and win. I mean,
this guy does.
I know. But what I'm saying
is,
in
the case of the Steinbrenner.
Well, the Steinbrenner inherited it, though. That's what I'm saying. Like George Steinbrenner built it up, was a tycoon and shipping, all this other stuff comes in, and then he had it because he wanted to win.
I'm going to stay calm.
He wants to win. Yes, he hired a PI guy to follow dudes around on his team.
He was a psycho.
But he wanted to win.
Yes.
This guy doesn't care if he wins. The little Steinbrenner guy does not care if he wins at all. All he cares about is continuing on what he's doing. And you have to want to win. If you're already a billionaire, what do you care? You know what I mean? Go out there and try to win.
What's your drive?
Right.
Unless you're like at the top of the evil chain, which in a way, I mean, I think they're both bored.
Yeah.
But like some of the stuff, at least Bezos and Elon Musk are trying. They're making lives hell for people at times. But like they have a passion to ruin everyone.
Yeah.
And just keep accumulating.
Yeah. Elon
Steinbrenner was giving, it's like, here's $7 billion franchise. And he's like, what's the budget? Like, there's no budget.
Exactly. Yeah.
No budget. When?
Yeah. Elon might be like Marvin the Martian, but at least Marvin the Martian was like, you know, he only had one eye on destroying Earth. But guess what? He was motivated to do it all day long.
I gotta bring up something that we mentioned off the air. I oftentimes on Mondays, as a week is getting started, I like my attitude. I will look around and hear stuff and see people, and I'll just be like, "Look at this, Jo."
Yeah.
What's this jabroni doing? Like that's my half my day is like, come on. And like literally, I think Elon Musk is like these old people. They're living the high life.
Yeah.
Like at 275.
Yeah.
Social Security.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this jabroni.
Yeah.
Living it up.
We'll give you
that's my money. That's my money. I deserve that money.
We'll give you a crypto coupon,
right?
Instead of your social
like
security
annoyed by stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Meanwhile, Steinbrenner, whatever.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Steve Cohen. Some guy tweets at him in Port St. Lucie spring training. He goes, "Hey, at Steve A. Cohen too. Big Mets fan here. Down in Port St. Lucie. Just got to the stadium. We got to do something about this parking lot here." I should really do an accent.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Over here. Steve Cohen answers, "When you say we, you and me or just me?" I'm like, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, if I'm a Mets fan, I'd be talking so much trash to the Yankees right now because look, man, at least they know within the next few years, they're going to be competing for something. The Yankees will be competing, quote unquote, but there's like, we know the end. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
They stole the second best player on the Yankees, the best free agent available aside from the Japanese guys. And all they had to do is, you want a suite all year? Take a suite.
Yeah.
I'm super rich. I'm sure the bean counters of the Mets are like, "Steve, but we're going to lose this much money, this many $1 million.
Oh, it looks bad because we're the Yankees. We let him do whatever he wants.
Give it to him.
Yeah, and the worst part is, at least the Yankees have an excuse because he is only 27 years old.
It drives me nuts.
Ridiculous.
And then you get these jerks in Denver who are worried about the Dodgers payroll. Like, spend your own money.
I know, dude.
Try to win. Have a competitive freaking bone in your body.
Dude, the PATH train that goes into the city from New Jersey makes more money a day that they could pay. I mean, they can pay anybody.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous.
All right. What are we doing here with the Final Four? You got anyone you love? I went anti-Duke in my original bracket. Clearly, I'm a genius and know college basketball more than anyone in this market.
Yes.
Because in our bracket contest brought to you by Paul Padalaw and Dollar Loan Center, I am in fourth place. I think 54,000 people played in it. Really like 1050. People could put in more brackets. About 1,050 people are in.
That's still good.
Yeah.
You're number 4.
I'm 4. I know what I'm
on
doing.
One of your 20 brackets, you got 4.
I put in 2 brackets, and it was my original bracket. It says Cofield bracket 1. It was not my alternate bracket. My alternate bracket was Jerkitude.
Somehow I wound up in my bracket, and I noticed a couple other people too that I wasn't thinking about beforehand, but I got Florida in mine.
Okay. You have Florida winning the title?
I got Florida going all the way.
Okay. So, in other words, winning the title. So, the West region, West region is Florida, Texas Tech, Maryland, and Arkansas. I picked against Florida in both of my brackets. Even I actually did a third one, which I think, I know I did. I don't know why I was going to hold back. I know that one was for money. I think that one's a disaster. I haven't checked it. Both of my Final Fours, I picked Texas Tech or Maryland, not Florida. Arkansas still alive. That's kind of a cool story. Do we like John Calipari?
Yeah, he seems cool.
I like his connection to the Harbaugh family.
What's the connection?
Isn't he married to the Harbaugh sisters? I remember.
Is that right?
I believe so. I might be wrong, but I'm gonna look that up. But I'm pretty sure I saw a round table with him and the Harbaughs all talking about coaching one day.
Griffin, do you have something in your mouth?
Got a lozenge.
Oh, is that what that is?
I'll open my mouth right now. I got it's empty, brother.
You gotta be ready all the time.
I know. I just thought I didn't know. I just heard something.
A lozenge or something. I like Calipari.
Yeah,
I like this one. The storyline going into the meeting between St. John's and Arkansas, they tried to tie together Calipari and Pitino, and it was clear Pitino's like, I don't like him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Goomba! And he's like, I don't like them.
Paisan.
Paisano. Like all Italians don't like each other.
That's great.
Stupid storylines. Like they were rivals back in the day.
Yeah.
I think Calipari, as the younger guy, is kind of the needling, upstart, annoying dude to Patino.
Who do you think is the more dark, has like the darkest real personality? Like
Patino at times.
I was going to say the same thing.
Now, again, we were talking about forgiving people and people make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, because what people got on Rick Pitino about, it turned into a high profile case. And then, the whole thing, he doinked out a
diner,
like a 52-year-old when he was about 65.
Was it a Waffle
Susan
House?
Johnson, I think. No, it was at an Italian restaurant in Louisville, I think. And she got impregnated, and then the Patino legal team defense was like, you finished in 8 seconds, so like it's not possible that she got pregnant. I'm like, how humbling is that? Really? We got to go with that defense? Rick, that's all we got. That's all we got, Rick. Sorry. I actually don't. I think both guys do what they've had to do over the years, which there are lots of, like Mike Krzyzewski. I don't know if he was doinking anyone on the side on his wife, Mickey, but these coaches live high on the hog. Yeah. They do what they need to survive. Money was passed under the table. Now it's all legal. They've all got a dark side. Now some are really dark and really dirty.
Yeah.
I like Calipari, like personally, and he won't know me from a hill of beans, but when he was at UMass, I was still in school as a student radio person. And I remember he was always gracious with his time. And I always appreciated that.
Yeah.
There was one guy who got all sassy with me, and I should have fought him, but I didn't do it.
Who was it?
Gary Williams, but he was kind of a grumpy guy to begin with. But yeah, I was doing a face-to-face. He was just annoyed.
Is he taller than Cronin?
He wasn't tall. Oh, he's taller than Cronin? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Right?
Yeah.
But I appreciate that he was nice. And
Calipari gives me used car salesman vibes a little bit.
Yeah, but that's
that's part of the job.
But they just slaughtered him at the end at Kentucky. And it's like sometimes you need to change.
Yeah.
Some coaches, you need to be humbled a little bit, when people are like, hey, you stink now. You can't coach. So I don't particularly love Arkansas as a school, but they paid a lot of money for him, so at least they're winning here. Real quick, South Region, Auburn, the 1 seed, Michigan State, Ole Miss, Michigan. I picked Michigan to go in my Final Fours. I think I had one with Auburn. Ole Miss is interesting because it's Chris Beard who lasted 2 weeks here.
Yeah,
and he's got a dark side. We know that. And then I guess a lot of people, I think do most people like Tom Izzo, unless you went to Michigan? I'm okay with Izzo.
Paisan.
He came on the show one time. I'm just going to mention everyone who's ever done an interview with me.
Like
all these guys.
Have
I talked to everyone?
Every Italian coach that you've ever met.
Yeah, right, that's what it was. I didn't even make that connection.
You want my Final Four then? Or you want to wait?
Well, who'd you pick in that region? Auburn, Michigan State, Ole Miss, or Michigan?
I got Michigan State.
Okay, Michigan State. Okay, Midwest. Houston, Tennessee, Purdue, Kentucky.
Houston.
I love Houston.
Yeah,
and Kelvin Sampson, he anytime we call him, he comes on. That's all of them. What am I doing? I have no object. This bracket that I filled out is a farce. Just like that. The guy
seems easy.
Yeah, the guy was nice to me in 1991.
Hey man, did you lose weight? I'm picking this guy for the Final Four. Did you get a haircut?
I'm trying to think of who I never picked. This is a good story. It's not a good story, but I blanked on the guy's name. I got to look it up. Former UCLA coach was a real chop buster.
Yeah. And
he looked at me on an interview one time and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "Radio, huh? Yeah, you got a face for radio." And I'm like, hey,
wow.
Mother, like you're no freaking beauty either, buddy.
Dude, I noticed that when we went to the Super Bowl, when they had it here in Vegas, the radio. Okay, so the radio was on one side, and then it slowly morphed into TV.
Yeah. Oh, the difference.
The BMI would
the weight.
The BMI went from even average guy 350 pounds all the way down to the hottest people you've ever seen in your life, like to the TV area. It was the funniest thing ever.
It was actually Jim Herrick.
Oh, okay.
He was good. He was a UCLA coach, and
was he handsome?
Not really.
He was being hypocritical.
No, but he was funny. He was being funny. He was joking with me, so I can take a joke. And then East Region, Duke, Bama, Arizona, BYU. I love Bama. I love their style.
I got Bama.
Maybe UNLV is going to get a former Bama assistant coach as the head coach, and Brian Hodgson. And should I be objective and pick Duke? Yes. Was I objective? No. So I picked against them.
I picked against Duke only because of the injury to to flag. I thought when it got a little nitty gritty that they might not have.
Part of me was not trusting Duke. I thought Duke was lying about Cooper Flag's status.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they got a number 1 seed. And I was like, yeah, he's a lot worse off. But
Right.
give him credit. You know what? He actually went out there and played in the first round in a freaking blowout spot.
Yeah.
Played in both games and looked fine.
I don't think he looked fine.
You didn't think so?
I don't know. He didn't look
You
like
think he's less than 100% still?
Yeah.
All right. Breaking news.
That's
My Bama pick.
That's why the lines move when I speak.
We'll talk some tourney basketball, a little Colorado State, some Rockies, and also what's going on with the Nuggets. Chad Anders from The Fan in Denver is on the way.
Your home for everything sports. Follow